The 2026 World Cup is almost here, and that sparked a critical question in my mind. What was actually the greatest soccer game on the Super Nintendo? To get the answer, I played them all. And with my whole infallible scientific method, I made the ultimate tier list. 1991, the Super Nintendo is barely out and it already gets its first soccer games. Kicking things off is World League Soccer, built on the famous Kickoff engine. But let me tell you, this game is an eyesore, even by the standards of the day. The pitch is enormous, the handling a nightmare, and the players take an eternity to get back on their feet. It completely ruins the flow of the game. Just stay away from it. For real. Next up, Super Soccer. The Super Nintendo classic everyone knows. Third game, lots of little animation, goal celebration, even the ref flashing a red card. Mother! For many players, this was their first soccer game. 1992, Captain Tsubasa ride on Super Nintendo. Suddenly, 16-bit soccer means slow-mo rockets from 30 meters and pitches that stretch forever. This is the series' first Super Famicom entry, blending RPG and tactical play. It follows the manga's main beats and feels very faithful. My Japanese is too limited to go deeper, but for graphics and animation, I'm giving it a C. Next up, Goal. The visuals are nothing to write home about, but the gameplay is surprisingly solid. My biggest beef with it? Sometimes the teams have practically identical kits, making it a real pain to see who is who. Fun overall, but really for diehard fans. C tier. Up next, Battle Soccer, Field no Asha, which translates to Battle Soccer Champions of the Field. Get ready for wild crossover featuring characters from Ultraman, Gundam and Godzilla. You get these huge sprites and awesome superpowers. It all feels very arcade-like, but the game is painfully slow. The rhythm of the matches and the gameplay itself are just lifeless. You will get bored. Definitely want to skip. Next up is Super Kickoff. I have to say I'm not a fan of the top-down perspective. The handling is mediocre at best, and the graphics are extremely basic. It has all the sign of being a port from an older system. While it is a step up from World League Soccer, it's still a ball game overall. I give it a D, and that may be nice. Next up, Super Soccer Champ. This is an adaptation of the arcade original. The gameplay is set aside and it leans heavily into its arcade roots. For the time, the animations are quite good, and it features a few digitized voice samples. It's an enjoyable experience. For anyone seeking a very arcade-focused game, this one is worth a shot. A great surprise, actually. It earns a B. 1993. This is the year Super Famicom Soccer really steps up its game. Super Promotion Soccer 2, sequel to Super Soccer, Japan exclusive. Same vibe. Now have to 4 players with multi-tap, that alone earns it to be. Captain Tsubasa IV Prono Rival Dachi. Game number 4 in the Captain Tsubasa series, still doing its RPG soccer thing. And since my Japanese is still as terrible as it was early in this video, that's all I've got. Sorry. This one for the hardcore fans of the series. Tony Meola's Psychic Soccer, or World Soccer if you were in Europe. The weight used in Mod 7 is really weird, but you have to admit, it's original. The camera sticks right behind the player with the ball, which is kinda nauseating. The tech behind it is solid, though we are not gonna talk about how the players are as big as the goal itself. Long story short, it's fun. Sensible Soccer is surprisingly fun, with really free gameplay and a great arcade feel, even if the graphics are super simple and the sounds are basic. The gameplay blows title like Kickoff out of the water. It's not perfect though, but it's an essential title for any fan of old-school soccer. Dini Soccer. So the guy who made Kickoff comes out with this modernized take on his own game. The graphics are better and the controller is tighter. It's for sure better than the other one, but it's still just fine. Gets a C. Champions World Class Soccer. How would I sum this one up? It's a good-looking game, but man, it is slow. I mean, really slow. It feels like they were going for more of a theme, but moving your players, making a pass, just forget about it. Everything is just painfully slow. There is no way I can recommend this. Striker or World Soccer 94, Road to Glory. For a game from late 93, early 94, the graphics are really nothing special. Still, it's a fun game to play because the controls are solid. And a quick shout out to the intro music. Fun fact, in France they call it a Recontainer Football Challenge to get rid of the whole Road to Glory angle, since France didn't make it to the 94 World Cup. I still carry the score. Super Goal 2. This is a sequel to the 1992 title, Goal. It shows a significant improvement over its predecessor. You get a ton of options to mess with, and the gameplay just feels way better. Soccer Kid. Alright, so Soccer Kid is the other one out here. It's actually a platformer, you know? Like Mario, but you use a soccer ball instead of fire throwers. The idea is original and the game looks good, but man, the controls feel really dated now. It was pretty popular for a while though. It gets a C. 1994, the World Cup arrives in the USA. It's the most important year for soccer on the Super Nintendo. Aoki Densetsu Shot. This one is based on the manga Shootout and never left Japan. The game just isn't on the same level as other 1994 titles. Yeah, it has some neat animations that remind you of the show, but otherwise the game is forgettable. Not great to look at, and the gameplay just plain slow. FIFA International Soccer. Here it is, the first ever game in the long-running FIFA series from EA. It brought in the isometric view, a pretty good idea that worked out pretty well. You can tell they put some thought into the gameplay and it felt really innovative for its time. You could always see the potential, but sadly for FIFA, it wasn't even close to being the best game this year. Kickoff 3 European Challenge. The camera shift to a side profile changes the feel, but not for the better. Even on the late 94 entry, it tackles all the titles without fresh ideas. Flat and forgettable. Capcom's Soccer Shootout. This is a genuinely good game. It's tough, with a pretty steep learning curve, but you can tell the gameplay is really solid. Your players respond well, the action is fast-paced, and it gets addictive fast. It also uses the Super Famicom Mode 7 really well. I never heard of this one before making this video, so it was an awesome find. Battle Soccer 2. The Tokusatsu matchups return. Bigger fun, bigger supers, pure arcade energy, way better than the original. Captain Tsubasa V Asha no Shogo. Can't read much, but the mechanics shifted hard. Proper soccer now, with many menus for every decision. What yes? 70 meters rocket. Easy game, right? Mega Man Soccer. I've seen a lot of people talk about this game, and honestly, I found it very average. The sprites are nice, but the game is so slow and sluggish. Famitsu gave it a 22/40 back in the day. For me, that's mediocre, and it doesn't deserve more. Hard to recommend. Deluxe's Hair League Soccer. I never even heard of this game. The big sprites are adorable, and I was really surprised by it. It's super arcade, yeah, but it's fun. It doesn't take itself seriously, it's totally nuts. And somehow, it all just works. A great total surprise. Plus, the mascot is a cat, so that's an automatic B in my book. No arguments. Hat-Trick Hero 2. This one was a Japan-only release. It was supposed to come out in North America, but that never happened. It's a pretty enjoyable game, and it's easy to just pick up and play. I couldn't really find much info about the series, but the game itself is solid. World Cup USA 94. So, first off, don't get this mixed up with World Cup Soccer 94 Road to Glory. This is the official World Cup game from US God, complete with all the real teams and stadiums. But besides the license, it feels like the game went backwards in time. It looks awful, and the gameplay feels ancient. For an unofficial licensed game, this is just mediocre, and frankly, that's unforgivable. International Superstar Soccer. And here we have the birth of a legend. International Superstar Soccer is a game that kicked off the series that will dominate soccer gaming for years to come. The graphics are gorgeous for the era, with super detailed sprites and tons of animations. The game is just packed with awesome little details. At launch, it sold over 500,000 copies in 1 week, just in Japan, before it came to the West a few months later. This started the whole FIFA vs ISS war. But in 1994, it wasn't even a contest. One of the best soccer games on Super Famicom. Period. Zico Soccer. Published by EA and exclusive to Japan, this title is a mix of simulation and management, while using the name of famous soccer legend playing in Japan at the time was a song idea in theory, proved to be the game's only merit. This is a concept that would have been far more at home on PC with mouse. Ultimately, while the idea is original, the game is quite horrible to play. Giving Keegan's player manager. So what is this? Pretty much just another kick-off game with the management stuff shown on top. That means the graphics are hideous for 94 release and the controls feel ancient. I would say it's slightly more playable than Zico Soccer. This is definitely a hard pass unless you are an hardcore fan. Deluxe Super Soccer. Published by Hudson, this title was known as Virtual Soccer in Europe. This specific release is limited to teams from Japan's J League. While the game itself is not bad, it falls well short of the console best offerings. Unless you happen to be a diehard fan of the J League, there's no reason to check this out. Super Formation Soccer 94 World Cup Edition. This was made by the same crew that did Super Soccer. Super Formation Soccer 94 World Cup Edition is basically just a reskin they pushed out for the 94 World Cup. The game is still decent, but the gameplay feels old. It's definitely not on the same level as FIFA or ISS. Zenkoku Koukou Soccer. This one is complicated. I mean, it looks fine, and the sound effects have these fun, shonen anime vibes to them, but the game is just so average. The problem is the slow gameplay and the ball physics. The ball feels like a rock, which just makes the whole thing a short play. Only check it out if you're really curious. 1995. We've entered the golden age of Super Famicom Soccer. Konami makes its major move, and FIFA responds in kind. It's important to remember that at this point, the PlayStation and Saturn had been out in Japan since the end of 1994. With its multiple game modes and strict presentation, 90 minutes European time goal had all the makings of great title. The problem? It showed up way too late to the party. Next to ISS or the early 32-bit titles, it just can't compete. It's more of an oddity than a classic of a genre. Ultra League Moero Soccer Daikessen. This was a Japan exclusive based on the Ultraman franchise. It reminded me so much of Dolucky's Helix Soccer that I was convinced they had the same developer. Turns out, they don't, and you can really feel it in the gameplay. It's weird, because it copies the same ideas, small fields, big sprites, but the execution just isn't there. Unless you are a die-hard Ultraman fan, you should probably skip it. Manchester United Championship Soccer. For a 1995 release, this is a remarkably mediocre title and simply unacceptable for its time. The game is technically and graphically years behind its contemporaries. Unless you're a Manchester United fan eager to revisit the club's past successes, and I'm aware that's a sore subject these days. Avoid this game at all costs. Head-on Soccer. So this one eventually came out on Super Nintendo too. It's a super arcade game, really easy to get into. There are basically no falls, it's fast, it's fun, but you also forget about it almost immediately. When you put it next to the heavy hitters, it just doesn't stand a chance. Tactical Soccer. Here's another shot at a tactical soccer game. The idea is that you're not directly controlling the players, but instead telling them what action to take, pass, shoot, and so on. The concept is original for sure, but it just doesn't work well on the Super Nintendo. It ends up being not very fun to play. This is one for the hardcore tactical fans and the curious only. Shijou Saikyou League, Serie A striker. Having real teams and players was a pretty big deal back then, so that's cool. The game goes for this anime style with kinda super deformed characters. The problem is, the camera is so zoomed in that it's hard to see what's going on. For a 95 release, it's miles beyond the standards. It's not terrible, but the only thing it really has going for it is the official license. Otherwise, you can skip it. Captain Tsubasa J. The graphics look just like the anime. So this is one that definitely aims at the fans. It's a tactical game, just like the others in the series, which means it's super hard to get into if you don't know Japanese. I'm putting it in C tier, but mostly because I can't say much else about it. But hey, if you're a fan of this one, let me know down in the comments. Zenkoku Koukou Soccer 2. You know, I felt like the first game had a certain charm, even with all its problems. The sequel is just not as good. It feels more generic, does nothing to stand out from the crowd, and it's just a lesser game overall. FIFA 96. As a second entry in the FIFA series, the ambition and financial backing behind the project are palpable. In context, it represents a significant evolution from its predecessor. It finally introduces real player names and a good number of customization options. However, one can also sense the technical limitation of the console, which was nearing the end of its life cycle and facing direct competition from the far more impressive 3D versions of the game on the PlayStation and Saturn. Nevertheless, it remains a very strong title, earning a solid A. International Superstar Soccer Deluxe. ISS Deluxe stands as the absolute gold standard of 16-bit soccer. It lacked official licenses and real player names, but it compensated with gameplay that was superior to FIFA, emphasizing constricted passes and a remarkably refined feel. It offered genuine depth through strategy, formations, stats, and fatigue management, all wrapped in a vibrant, fluid, and consistently fun package for 1 or 2 players. It's a classic that changed soccer games forever. To no one's surprise, it is the GOAT of the Super Nintendo, an S-tier masterpiece. J-League Excite Stage 95. This game offers nothing particularly noteworthy beyond its official J-League license. It's neither good nor bad, but simply finds itself left far behind by its competitor in 1995. J-League Super Soccer 95, Jikkyou Stadium. This is a J-League license game from Hudson, and it's way bigger than its direct rival in Japan. The gameplay is nice and smooth, and it even has some digitized voice scripts, a super rare feature for the time. A great little gem that never made it outside of Japan. 1996. The final whistle sounds for the Super Nintendo. J-League Excite Stage 96. It's pretty much a carbon copy of the last game. The problem is, by 1996, that's just not good enough anymore. There's very little point to this one. J-League 96 Dream Stadium. This was still the other option over in Japan, and while it has a few small improvements, it's nowhere near the best soccer games the console has to offer. So it's pretty pointless unless you're a big fan of the J-League. 96 Zenkoku Koukou Soccer Senshuken. I'm not sure what happened here, but this game is just so much worse than the last one. It looks like there's some kind of story mode, but the whole thing is in Japanese, so I can't tell you anything about it. Either way, a really disappointing final entry, just incredibly average. Super Formation Soccer 96 World Club Edition. By 1996, this saga had aged poorly. It shows very little evolution from the original entry, and the difference in quality is now stark. While the game remains pleasant enough, it falls far short of the standards set by other 16-bit titles. Regrettably, it earns a D. FIFA 97. This is easily the weakest of the Super Nintendo FIFA games. You can just tell EA was done investing in the 60-bit version. The game actually went backwards. It's not a bad game, but by 96, the 32-bit era was in full swing, and that's where all the effort on FIFA went. And just for your information, I won't be covering FIFA 98 because it's completely irrelevant. Alright, and here it is. The final tier list of every single game we looked at. I actually found a bunch of cool little games I never even heard of. It's fascinating to see how soccer games evolve. The 16-bit era was a massive turning point, with legends like ISS and the birth of the FIFA franchise, a series that, today has EA Sports FC, stand with virtually no competition. Now it's your turn. Drop your top picks, your ultimate GOAT, or your favorite guilty pleasure down in the comments. Take care, matane!